How is this Zags team different than the one you faced last year?
Obviously, they lost some upperclassmen like we did, guys that are now playing in the NBA. And like any great program like they are, they've got guys that are in the wings ready to play. And, you know, Kispert coming back and Tilly obviously being healthy for the first time. And Petrushev, who played a lot last year. And I was fortunate enough, Petrushev and Ayaye were in the under-19 overseas. And Ayaye made all-tournament. He was one of the best players in the under-19 in the world. So they've you know, when you have a great program like them, they're just, you know, restocking just different talent. But the Gonzaga way, the Gonzaga program, the way they play basketball, same.
Mark, how would you characterize the rivalry? It's been strange. They were like best friends at one time, they were enemies at one time, and now Gonzaga's kind of had the role that Washington used to have as far as dominating the series. How privy to that? I mean, 2 games into it. And how important is it to check this box?
Well, it's anytime you get you know, 2 programs in state, it's a great thing. It's great for the state. It's great for the state of basketball, state of Washington, and you know, it's really good when both programs are really good, because rivalry games are what makes college basketball great. And I've only played in it 2 years. I'm learning about it. I've known Coach Few. When he did Coaches versus Cancer with Coach Boeheim way back 20-something years ago. Experienced, been around him through USA Basketball. He's one of the classiest guys in the business, one of the best coaches in the business, and to be able to compete against him is a great opportunity for us and an honor. And you know, it's great for Washington basketball.
You mentioned the Gonzaga way, Coach. How would you describe it?
Very, very organized offensively, share the ball. They play extremely fast. Defensively, you know, they can game plan you, and they expect to win every game that they play. And you know, that's what great programs do, and it's what we're trying to build here.
You mentioned the foreign influence as well, and it seems like something that you has really dug into in recent years. What is it about the way that the players are playing on the international level that works well with his style?
Well, they're, you know, fundamentally sound, and when you've had success with international players before, usually you can go eat at the same restaurant, and other players want to come and play for you, and they've had so much success with international players. It's been great for them. It's worked for them, and you know, Tommy Lloyd spends a lot of time overseas, and they do a great job, and you know, it's really worked for them.
Is there something about their offense that just puts them? Last year they led the country in scoring. This year they're only 2 points off of what they were last year with all of that turnover that they said.
You know what, they really run. They're really good in transition. They've got exceptional shooters. Their big guys are relentless runners that are really good post players. They're so fundamentally sound. You know, they post up strong, legally. They're big, and which gives them, you know, they're pretty simple, but they're simply great. Does that make sense? They get great spacing. They run to the corners. They've got dangerous shooters, and they've got great post players. They've got great balance. They can score a lot of different ways, and they can hurt you a lot of different ways.
At this point in the season, are you guys as far along as you want to be?
No. You know, I think this team's got great potential. You know, we're trying to get better every day. We have, you know, we got to learn how to finish. We played, even in the last game, we played, I thought, really good for stretches, and then, you know, they score 18 points in the last 3 minutes. Those things, you know, we've got to finish better. But there are signs of growth, which I'm really excited about, and you know, we're just going to have to see how we grow. But that's why you play a tough schedule. That's why you play games like the Zags to really kind of gauge where you're at and what the best teams in the country are doing, because that's who we strive to be, as one of the best teams in the country.
You mentioned the signs of growth. What are the things you look at that you've already seen kind of grow?
Well, I think you know, offensively we have better spacing. We got to play a little bit faster, harder tempo part, but I think we're sharing it for the most part. And now it just goes back to the consistency of where it becomes that all the time. But they're learning, they're working. I think our zone has shown some really good signs of growth, especially with the young guys. that needs to keep getting better. And then obviously our man, each team that we play is going to be different in how much we play it. I feel like we've done a good job getting a certain set, not necessarily we've stabilized a rotation, but the guys that are going to play an impact. I feel good about that. And now we just got to keep getting better. We got to shoot better. We got to defend the three better. And that's part of the process.
Do you go back to the big lineup, or do you go back to
Personally, that's a good question. It goes back to I changed it 2 games in a row. Quad A had a really good game, and so, we'll see at practice today, and as we watch the Zags, what best fits us for this game. And I just know we've got good options, and that's, been able to build that depth and get confidence off the bench is a huge thing. There's a lot of things. I mean, defensively, Gonzaga is an offensive team. They play great defense, great offense, but they've been one of the best offensive teams in the country the last few years. I mean, you got to stop them in transition because they can really shoot it, and their big guys run. But you got to try to stop them. They're a machine.
Is there anything that you take away from that game last year? I mean, you guys were over 17 points below their average last year. That game was right there.
Yeah, you know what? They had a 14-point lead in the first half, and I think the thing with a veteran team is the poise part. They got out to an 18-point lead this year against Oregon early, and just gotta, you gotta show a lot of poise when you're playing against a championship program. You gotta show poise. You gotta stay the course. You gotta get better as the game progresses, and hopefully at the end of the day, hopefully we can make some shots.
When you two ready to play, do you play on the history at all? The last game, the series, do you talk that up or state dominance, or just go through?
It's just we try to play a tough schedule every year. They're obviously a great team. Baylor, I don't know if they've hit the top 10 yet. Tennessee's in the top 25. The Zags are right around 10 or 11. And so you just want to play top teams, and you're just, it's such a long season. You're trying to get really good. And to get really good, you've got to play teams that are really good and challenge you in different ways. And this is a game that will help us move forward in terms of our goal, and that's to win championships. And it's a great test for us.
Can you talk about the dimension it adds to your offense when Quad A is scoring the basketball?
Listen, it's all, the thing that I loved about him was the 8 assists, 1 turnover. Part of one of our things is making sure that we're not turning the ball over in terms of unforced errors. When we're sharing, we're really good, and you end up shooting better percentages. He's always been a guy who's been able to score and shoot, and having a guy that, has already shot 40% in a season at a high level, that he has that. And when you have a guy like Isaiah and Jaden and those guys, and Nas, you have guys that can surround them, that can really make open shots and deliver the ball to those guys. Huge for the offense. You know what? Elijah's done a great job, especially defensively for us when we play man. Boy, is he a pest. He can get up in you like Patrick Beverly and turn you and be aggressive. He rebounds great for his position. Every game's going to be different. I played Jamal Bay at the backup. That's worked for us. In certain games, we get big in our lineup. We get big on our defense. But I feel confident in both the guys backing up Quad A for sure.
Like we've asked you in the past, obviously, when you implemented the man in the zone, how you want to go about it. Was this game part of the thinking in the back of your mind that this is something you targeted because you wanted to have some versatility?
Not necessarily, just for us to grow as a program and to have another weapon in our bag. I felt we had a lot of guys that could defend multiple positions, and so if someone gets comfortable against us, we can throw you a knuckle curve, and sometimes it's really good for our guys because we've got aggressive players, we've got attack type players, and sometimes getting out and playing man to man and bumping around a little bit, those types of things are obviously good and can change the tempo of a game. That's why we like it.
If you had the man last year, would you have used it on that last defensive play with Brewer?
That's a good question. I don't know that, but it definitely could be. It could have been something that we thought about. When you practice it, you're looking at times when you can use it and when it can best fit your team. We've been about 60% on that when we thought it would be good, and next thing you know, you're down 8-1. But it's the long games, long season, and to have another weapon like that you know you can go to in certain games is definitely a benefit for our team.
Hey, because how often do you think about that shot? At all? I mean, it was like 0.67.
He's doing well in the NBA. To be able to go down and there's no moral victories in losing, but to be able to compete against one of the top programs is, you get a chance to measure yourself and know that, gosh, if we could make a play here, we could be one of the top teams. Make a play there, we could be one of the top teams. And it's not about Gonzaga or Tennessee or this. It's about how can we reach our full potential. I mean, that's what we try to do as a program and as a staff.
I was curious about Nas. Last year his role seemed to be pretty defined.
Mm-hmm.
With the leadership of the seniors and all that, but coming into this year, clearly expectations of him, coming in the starting lineup and what have you. But now with the emergence of the freshmen, Guade has clearly started to emerge as well. Is he having to kind of rediscover his niche on the team or role or anything like that?
No, I think when you're building a team, when you have 5 guys, a bench, and different guys that can all impact the game. And you share, 2 guys guard him, boy, a pass out against Baylor and he makes the shot. That's awesome. But as you get further and you become one of the guys, now the scouting report changes on you. And now someone else might be open. And that's when you have all those guys now clicking on all cylinders, that's when you become a special team. And, you look at all those old great Chicago Bulls and a lot of those championship teams, it's Robert Horry making a big shot at the end because they've double teamed so-and-so, or it's Steve Kerr making a shot over in the corner, or it's, that's why you have a great team. It's all about team. And when you're young, it's, there's no 8-point shot. There's no 10-point shot. We got to get not your shot. We got to get our shot. And so even if I run a play for you, you might be double teamed, but that's going to allow you to make a play for somebody else that we have trust in and we know can impact the game. And that's what we're trying to build.
How hard a lesson is that to learn for guys?
It's hard. It's part of the process. It's like when you teach. I used to coach 6th grade and under kids before I got into coaching. And I would work with a kid and I'd do all the dribbling drills and I'd do layups and I'd do all the moves and I'd go, the parents would say, come watch the game. And I'd go watch the game and you never saw him make one of those moves. And then what you would do is you would sit there and you would go and you'd work at it. And then about a month, some kids a month later, boy, then all of a sudden it just happens and you see it and you're like, wow. You see that in and out, wow, what a move. And so when I say that, I mean, everybody has a learning curve. Some people get it right away. Some people it takes 2 months. Sometimes it takes 3 months. Everybody has a different level of that. And so the frustrating thing or the growing pains as a coach with a young team is you're hoping that the learning curve is tomorrow, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer than that. But that's what you're striving for at all times.
Couple more guys.
You played some pretty good teams, but the atmosphere is, you see them on TV, there weren't a lot of people in those early November games, but this one could be really electric.
Yeah.
Are you kind of wondering how your teams would respond to that? A bunch of young guys?
Well, the Tennessee game wasn't, the crowd wasn't great. The Baylor game was electric. It started, it was pretty cool. And, a lot of these guys have, Nas has played in the game, playing at the Zags last year was a pretty cool environment. It was really cool and loud. And, listen, these are the games that, you'll remember a lot of games, but rivalry games, great environments, I feel like we've got one of the best home courts in the country. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to be here. I felt like it could be one of the toughest places to play. When you look at the history and you look at some of the games that have been here, our crowd and the Dog Pack have taken us over the top. And I know we will feel them on Sunday.